Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and welcome to our hearing. Sorry we couldn't. I know we kept trying to get together, and you had a meeting, and then I had a meeting, and then we were, but I would still look forward to doing that and having a good conversation with you, and I appreciate you being here today. Let me just say I represent Southern New Jersey, and specifically the 2nd Congressional District. It encompasses more than...
You have Cape May?
Yes, I do.
I love Cape May.
Cape May is a beautiful place. I spend a good amount of my time here trying to convince people to go there. People have a preconceived notion of New Jersey, and I don't think they have any idea what it really is about. It's a beautiful, beautiful area, and I'm glad you've been there. It encompasses my district, because it is rural and shore, 40% of the state and more than 60% actually of the coastline. And I'm going to keep my questions focused on one topic, which is the Coastal Barrier Resource Act, also known as COBRA. And before I begin, I just want to ask unanimous consent to enter a letter that I wrote to the Fish and Wildlife Service Acting Director into the record, if that is... Okay, thank you, Chairman. I also want to note, and maybe you could just check up on that, that I haven't received a response yet, and that was about 2 months ago, so maybe it got lost if you could look. And it was purely based on a factual issue that we're really having in Stone Harbor, North Wildwood, in that area.
We'll find out.
Thank you very much. As you know, COBRA was enacted in the early 1980s to prohibit federal financial assistance for development on coastal barriers. The goals of COBRA are to minimize the loss of life and property, reduce wasteful expenditures, and protect our natural resources. And I think we all agree that these are worthy goals. In my district, we have a flood and coastal storm damage reduction project that was authorized by the Water Resources Development Act of 1999 called Townsend's Inlet to Cape May Inlet Shore Protection Project, which includes beach nourishment in the boroughs Avalon and Stone Harbor in Cape May County. And the project was known as the Stone Harbor Project, has used sand from a Hereford Inlet Borough area south of Stone Harbor that falls inside Coastal Barrier Resources System, unit number New Jersey 09. And if you want any of this information, again, we'll certainly, I know it's very technical. On 3 separate occasions, because of an exception, it was granted from Fish and Wildlife. So we were able to borrow from that area, use that sand for beach replenishment. In 2016, however, the service under the previous administration, this again was a previous administration actually, inexplicably reversed this exception and concluded that sand from Hereford Inlet could no longer be used for beach nourishment at Stone Harbor. The service's objection to the use of the Hereford Inlet Borough site resulted in sediment being taken from a more remote inlet called Townsend's Inlet and transported at additional price tag of $6.5 million, which the municipalities had to bear. Sediment surveys have also shown that there's simply not enough sand from Townsend's Inlet to nourish both the Avalon and the Stone Harbor portions of the project. In a perverse way, COBRA has the potential to have the opposite effects of its goal in this case. Secretary, do you agree that Fish and Wildlife granted an exception for the Stone Harbor project to use the Hereford Inlet Borough area with unit New Jersey number 9 for beach nourishment outside of the unit? The answer is yes. You know,
I honestly don't know.
Okay, I know it is technical, but they have. And it's a very big, important issue down by us. COBRA prohibits all federal expenditures on units of the Coastal Barrier Resource System, except for a few clearly defined exceptions, which are found in Section 6 of the statute. I have a letter dated December 24th, 96, from the Fish and Wildlife Service Regional Director named Ronald Lambertson to Lieutenant Colonel Robert Kaiser of the U.S. Army Corps, which states that it is the service's conclusion that this proposed action does constitute an exception under Section 6 of COBRA, provided that the following conditions are incorporated into the project design. During the planning phase of this project, the U.S. Army Corps coordinated with the service and received additional approval. The project met those conditions, and without this project, Stone Harbor Point may not have existed today because it was experiencing severe erosion and habitat loss due to the lack of littoral drift, which essentially recycles sand back to the unit. The Army Corps never placed sand directly on Stone Harbor Point. That habitat grew through natural processes of sand re-nourishing Stone Harbor's beach down south to the area. So I have another letter that I ask unanimous consent to put into the record, and that was that last record, Mr. Chairman. And I'll ask you the previous question. Do you agree that Fish and Wildlife Service granted an exception? And when you do research, you'll find that they did. And so I guess the whole point of this is that they had granted research an exception in the past to do this. We're doing no environmental harm. In fact, it's environmental good, but we seem to be hitting a stone because Fish and Wildlife Service, and we really need your help and would like our office directly to interact with yours because we're causing more harm by what we're doing now.
So we'll work with you on it.
I did.
We'll absolutely work with you on it.
Thank you very much.